around in this direction this way. As that cutter head comes by this grain here, it's laying the grain down, so it's not blowing out any of the sections. Especially with a hardwood like oak. Oak is really, really coarse material that has the qualities to it will snap out parts just because it's so hard and it won't lay down. It's not a softwood. So we want to make sure that when we put material through this machine, we're putting it through in the proper grain direction. That way we have a nicer finished cut on this. Also, when you're putting material through here, you're not going to want to try and put it through really fast. You want to make sure that the cutter head has the opportunity to cut 8 times per inch. That way you'll end up with a finer surface and it won't require you to sand it as much, okay? And it's not as hard on the knives, it's not as hard on the machine, okay? So what I want to do is I have the machine completely set up properly. I have the in-feed bed set 1/8 of an inch lower. The out-feed bed is level or on the same plane as the cutter knife. The fence is set to exact 90 degree that I'm looking for because I'm trying to square a board. I have my push blocks here. If I need to use the push blocks, I'm going to have the handle here holding this 90 degrees to the fence, so it's nice and tight against the fence. This handle is like this, so I can push this material straight through. Unfortunately, it's catching the other part, it's not on. And I can push this all the way through like this if I cannot maintain a 4-inch margin for safety. These push blocks always remain here on this machine, so that way it's always here for you if you need to use them on a board that's smaller than 4 inches or a board that you cannot maintain a 4-inch margin for safety. I would also say this, is if the board is not at least 2 inches in width, don't even attempt this. We'll figure out some other way. It's just not worth your fingers, okay? So let me go ahead and turn the power on, and then I'll turn on the dust collector because we want to make sure we have proper vacuum, just like we did when we used the planer yesterday. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to flip, I'm going to turn this box on. This will allow power is on. If you see this, this is on, that says off. So now we have that reading on. I'm going to walk over to here, to the back of the shop, and I'm going to turn on my dust collection. I'm going to wait for that to spool up, get up to full RPM. Now remember, when we use the jointer, we want to make sure that before we put the material through the machine, it's running at full RPM, okay? So, I have the jointer, everything's been all set up for me. I have the crown side up, I know which side the grain's going so it lays down. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make the first pass and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about as far as what to look for to make sure you have the correct side first that you're jointing. So turn this on, this is at full RPM. I place my hand here properly, the other hand into a fist, thumb out, and I'm going to make sure it stays tight to the fence. I'm going through relatively slow. I push this all the way through the machine. I turn this off. Now, I've turned the machine off, but the cutter head is still rotating. You can still hear it. I remain here at this machine until this comes to a complete stop. Do not walk away, because while we're working in the shop, multiple tools might be running at the same time, and some people might not be able to hear, and you don't want to walk away right away. The next person may come up to use this, want to check something, and that rotating head is still spinning. That's bad, okay? Now, this happened to joint this whole board, the whole surface, in the very first pass. That's okay. I have another board here to show you. Also, because I moved across the jointer knives slowly, this surface is incredibly smooth, but because this is such a nice 90-degree angle, this edge right here might end up being sharp. So be careful with that with your fingers, okay? Especially if you have some really dried out skin. So this has been jointed properly and ready for the next step in squaring the board. side down, this is the crown side up. I'm going to take this board, it's the same width. Now what I'm going to do is turn this on. This is going to require several passes, but now we have a large board, okay? You'll see that it only touched here, and a little bit right there. The rest of this is still in the rough. Like I said, it's going to take a couple passes. Almost there. This one edge completely flat. And here's something I can show you, a little trick. Now that the blade, the knife is coming to a stop because I turned it off. It's stopped. What I can do is I can take this, place this against the fence. When I place this against the fence, I don't see any gap along here. That means that this is perfectly straight. Okay? So I've done my job now. I have this face has been done, this edge has been done, and this face has been done. The only thing left we have to do to square this board is take care of this side and the two ends, and then we completed squaring the board. So this is your video for today, but I want to address just want to make sure I checked everything off. Yep. Everything's complete. I just wanted to double check and make sure that I addressed every safety issue or every possible issue that can happen on a jointer. Okay, so that's our video for today. If you guys have any questions, I should be available. I'm going to be available in the chat box, and I'll turn it on live, the camera, right after. I'd say 2 minutes, just to give you an opportunity to switch from one platform to the next platform. Okay, thanks. See ya.